Good morning students. Today we will discuss third agricultural practice, that is replenishment of nutrients. In our previous classes we studied about first two agricultural practices, that were preparation of soil and selection and sowing of seeds. Now it's time to learn about third agricultural practice, that is replenishment of nutrients. Now question is, what is its need? Why is this step necessary in agriculture? Because due to continuous and repeated cultivation of crops on the same field, nutrients are depleted from the soil. How's that? See, when we grow crops or plants on a field, then that crops or plants take up or absorb nutrients from the soil for their growth. Okay, now if we keep on growing or cultivating these plants or crops for a longer period of time, then they absorb or take up all the nutrients or most of the nutrients from the soil. Now soil is devoid of nutrients, it is deprived of nutrients, it has deficiency of nutrients, its fertility is decreased now. Then in future we will not be able to grow healthy yield of crops in large production. So it is very necessary or essential to maintain the fertility of soil. And fertility of the soil, nutrients content in the soil can be maintained or increased by two methods, natural methods and artificial methods. First of all, we will learn about natural methods. What are the natural methods or ways by which we can maintain or increase the fertility of the soil, by which we can maintain or increase the content or amount of nutrients in the soil? That are fallowing, and second one is crop rotation and mixed cropping. First of all, what is fallowing? Fallowing, in this method the field or the land is left free or fallow for 1 or 2 seasons. Why? Because when we do not grow any crops or plants on the field, then no more absorption, no more taking up of nutrients take place. During that time period, earthworms and microorganisms present in the soil decompose or decay all the dead plants, animals, their parts, their excreta and other organic matter to convert them into simple nutrients. So during that time, earthworm and microorganism become very much active and they decompose all the organic matter into simple nutrients, and that nutrients are not absorbed by any crop or plant during that time. So they keep on accumulating, they keep on increasing in the soil. In this way, lastly, the nutritive value or the nutrient content or fertility of the soil is increased, which is very suitable and helpful for the good growth of crops in large production. Okay. Now next one is, we have to adopt various cropping patterns in order to increase the fertility of the soil, that are crop rotation and mixed cropping. See, if we grow same type of plants or crops on the land for consecutive seasons for a longer period of time, then it is obvious that that same kind of or type of plants or crops absorb same type of nutrients in excess, so that soil will be deficient in that particular type of nutrients. Now that nutrients will be no more in the soil, and if these nutrients will not be present, then crops which will be grown in future will not get these nutrients, so their health, their growth, their production will be declined. So we have to adopt or apply some cropping patterns which increase the fertility and nutrient content of the soil. What are that? Crop rotation. In crop rotation, we grow or cultivate different kind of crops which have different nutrient requirements in alternate seasons. For example, in one season, we are growing wheat crop or rice crop. Both crops require nitrogen in large quantity. So they absorb nitrogen from the soil in large quantity. So after their cultivation, that soil becomes deficient in nitrogen. So in alternate season, in next season, we should grow any other crop of different type which has different nutrient requirement, like legume crops. For example, pulses, beans, grams, peas, like that. As you have already studied in chapter 1 that legume crops or leguminous plants have root nodules, and in these root nodules special kind of nitrogen fixing bacteria live, like rhizobium, which fix atmospheric nitrogen in usable form in the soil. Now this soil becomes rich in nitrogen compounds or nitrogen, which is then used up by these plants and plants to be grown in future. So in this way, by growing or cultivating different kinds of plants or crops having different nutrient requirement in alternate seasons, we can maintain the fertility of the soil. So now in next season, you can grow crops like wheat and rice that require nitrogen in large quantity, and they will get nitrogen in large quantity, in large amount from the soil which is rich with nitrogen. So they will use up or absorb nitrogen which they require from the soil. That will help, that will enhance their growth, and it will result in their healthy yield in large production. Then after that, in next season, we will again grow leguminous plants, because that will enrich the soil with nitrogen which is already used up by wheat and rice. So that soil after wheat and rice becomes deficient in nitrogen, and that deficiency of nitrogen is compensated by leguminous plants, because they again enrich the soil with nitrogen. And moreover, there is a question that leguminous plants enrich the soil with nitrogen. Now what kind of nutrients they take? They take nitrogen but in small quantity. They take other nutrients in large quantity. Okay, and that nutrients will not be taken up by wheat and rice. So during their cultivation, during their season, that nutrients will again be replenished, which will be used by leguminous plants in next season. Okay, so in this way we can maintain the fertility of soil by growing or cultivating different kind of crops in alternate seasons having different nutrient requirement. Now next one is mixed cropping. What is mixed cropping? Mixed cropping is a cropping pattern in which two or more different kinds of crops having different nutrient requirement are grown simultaneously together on the same field side by side. For example, wheat is grown along with gram. Then what will happen? Wheat will absorb nitrogen from the soil in large quantity. So it will absorb nitrogen in excess, but alongside gram is growing, it is cultivating. For growth, gram will not take so much nitrogen from the soil, it will take other nutrients. So what will happen? The loss of nitrogen which is taking place in case of wheat, that is compensated by the gram. Moreover, gram being a leguminous plant enrich the soil with nitrogen. So in this way, their nutrient requirement will be fulfilled and nutrient content or fertility of the soil will also be maintained by mixed cropping. Nutrients which will be taken up by gram will not be taken up by wheat. Okay, so both will balance their nutrient requirement, and in this way fertility of the soil will be maintained. Okay, now artificial methods. What are artificial methods? Artificial methods are adding manures and fertilizers. Actually what happen, natural methods are good but are not so much efficient that they alone can increase or maintain the fertility of the soil. So in addition to these natural methods, we have to apply or implement artificial methods. These artificial methods include addition of manures and fertilizers in the soil. Actually manures and fertilizers are the supplements provided to the soil which increase the content of nutrients in the soil and enhance the fertility of the soil. Okay. Now what are manures and fertilizers? First of all, manures. Manures are rich in organic matter and are formed by the decomposition of remains of dead plants, animals, animal excreta, etc. by microorganisms and earthworm. So manures are rich in organic matter because they are formed by the decomposition of remains of dead plants, animals, animal excreta, agricultural waste, etc. by earthworms and microorganisms. So we can conclude that living organisms like microorganisms and earthworm, when they decay or decompose all the remains of dead plants, animal excreta, agricultural waste, etc. they decompose or decay all these matter into manure which is rich in organic matter. Whereas fertilizers, or we can say chemical fertilizers, are man-made chemicals which are artificially synthesized or produced in factories or industries. They are rich in nutrients. So both manures and chemical fertilizers, when added into soil, they enrich the soil with organic matter and nutrients. In this way, structure and texture of soil as well as fertility of the soil is increased. How's that? See, if you add manure in soil, then manure is rich in organic matter because it is derived or formed from the remains of plants, animals, animal excreta, agricultural waste, means it is derived or produced from matter of organisms. So it is rich in organic matter, and when it is added in soil, it enriches the soil with organic matter, and this organic matter improves the structure and texture of soil. If soil is not so porous, then it makes the soil porous. If soil has less water retention capacity, so it increases the water retention capacity of soil. Okay. Now, for example, clayey soil. Clay soil has great water retention capacity because in clay soil particles are very small, so they are tightly packed with each other. So, water cannot seep or percolate down further or at great depth in clay soil. Water remain in upper portion of the clay soil. So, it has great water retention capacity, but at the upper level. It can result in water logging, means accumulation of water in upper portion. Okay. So, to make this clay soil porous so that water can seep or percolate down further, we can add manures in clay soil. That manures make the soil, especially clay soil, porous. It will make pores in the soil so that water can seep or percolate down deeper in the soil. And in case of sandy soil, where particles are bigger and loosely packed with each other, have great spaces between them. So, when rain comes, the rain water easily seeps or percolates down and goes at a great depth inside the sandy soil. So, in case of sandy soil, water does not retain in upper portion. There must be some water in upper portion for the proper growth of the plant. So, in case of sandy soil, there must be some water retention capacity in the upper portion of the soil. That can be improved by adding manures. So, if you add manures in sandy soil, that manures will make the sandy soil to be tightly packed so that their water retention capacity in upper portion can be increased. So, we can conclude that manures are rich in organic matter which enhance or improve the structure and texture of the soil. Okay. Now, there is a question, do they not have nutrients? They have nutrients, but not in large quantity. Now, chemical fertilizers, they are man-made chemicals. They are specially made, produced or synthesized in factories and industries. So, they are rich in nutrients. They are made for that purpose. So, many nutrients are incorporated in fertilizers. So, they are rich in nutrients. So, when they are added in soil, they enrich the soil with nutrients. They replenish nutrients in the soil. So, in this way, by adding manures and fertilizers, we can improve the soil structure, soil texture as well as soil fertility. Okay. Then, what are the basic differences between manures and fertilizers? First difference is, see, manures are formed by the decomposition of remains of dead plants, animals, animal excreta, agricultural waste, etc. by microorganisms and earthworm. But on the other hand, chemical fertilizers are man-made chemicals which are artificially synthesized or produced in factories or industries. Second one, manures are rich in organic matter. They are not rich in nutrients. Chemical fertilizers do not have organic matter at all. They are highly rich in nutrients like potassium, nitrogen, phosphorus, which are greatly required by most of the plants in large quantity. Third point, manures do not cause any kind of pollution, soil pollution, water pollution, but overdoses of chemical fertilizers cause soil pollution as well as water pollution. Manures are prepared in fields. Chemical fertilizers, as I already told you, are prepared in factories or industries. Manures are bulky, heavy in weight, so it is difficult to transport manures from one place to another place. While chemical fertilizers are light in weight, so it is easy to transport chemical fertilizers from one place to another place. Okay? Manures are not soluble in water. That is why they are slowly, gradually absorbed by the plants. Whereas chemical fertilizers are soluble in water. So they are easily and quickly absorbed by plants. If we use manures for a long time in long run, then it do not harm the soil or harm the crops. They even improve or enhance the structure, texture of soil. Okay? Whereas chemical fertilizers, if they are used for a longer periods of time in a long run, then they can harm soil and decline the fertility of soil, because their overdoses will make the soil too acidic or basic, and that will reduce or decline the fertility of the soil, and ultimately that will decline the large production of healthy crops. Example of manure is compost. Examples of chemical fertilizers are urea, potash, ammonium sulfate. And I think you are familiar with these examples. You must have heard these names often. This is all for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.